In life, who we choose to trust and respect can significantly impact our well-being, happiness, and success. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of personal ethics informed by a system of logic and views on the natural world, teaches us to be discerning about where we place our trust and respect. The Stoics believed that not everyone is worthy of these precious gifts. Here are 17 types of people who, according to Stoic principles, do not deserve your trust and respect. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. 1. The liar. A liar is someone who twists the truth to serve their own ends, undermining the core Stoic virtues of honesty, integrity, and rationality. In Stoicism, truth is the foundation of trust and respect. When someone lies, they not only betray others, but also weaken their own character, creating a cycle of deceit that eventually erodes the very fabric of relationships. Lies lead to more lies, unraveling trust and making it impossible to rely on the liar's words or actions. For a Stoic, respecting or trusting a liar is not just unwise, it's a betrayal of the commitment to truth and integrity. Liars choose deception over honesty, putting self-interest above moral responsibility. True respect is reserved for those who uphold the truth, even when it's challenging, because it's through truth that we build strong, virtuous, and reliable relationships. 2. The selfish. The self-centered person lives in a world where their needs, desires, and opinions eclipse everything else. This individual often views relationships through a lens of personal gain, valuing others only insofar as they can serve their own interests. In contrast, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of community, mutual aid, and the interconnectedness of all human beings. A selfish person fails to grasp these fundamental Stoic principles, as they prioritize their own well-being above the common good. They are often quick to take but slow to give, seeing others as mere tools or obstacles rather than as fellow travelers on the path of life. This egocentrism creates a barrier to genuine trust and respect, as it becomes clear that the self-centered person cannot see beyond their narrow self-interests. To a Stoic, respect and trust are earned through selflessness, empathy, and the willingness to act for the benefit of others, traits that the self-centered individual glaringly lacks. 3. The victim. A person who consistently adopts a victim mentality tends to see the world as a place where things happen to them, rather than a space where they have agency and influence. In Stoic philosophy, the emphasis is always on personal responsibility, self-control, and focusing on what you can change. The victim, however, rejects these principles, choosing instead to dwell on their perceived helplessness and blaming external forces or other people for their struggles. This mentality isn't just about feeling sorry for oneself, it's a way of deflecting responsibility, avoiding the hard work of personal growth, and remaining stuck in a cycle of negativity. The victim seeks validation and sympathy from others, using their misfortunes as a way to gain attention rather than searching for real solutions. This behavior can be draining for those around them, as it often involves constant complaints, a lack of initiative, and an unwillingness to take ownership of their life. From a Stoic perspective, this mindset is deeply flawed because it denies the individual's inherent power to shape their own destiny through their choices and actions. Respecting or enabling someone with a victim mentality only reinforces their sense of powerlessness, keeping them trapped in a state of inaction and self-pity. True respect in Stoicism is reserved for those who, despite facing challenges, take responsibility for their lives, focus on what they can control, and actively work to overcome obstacles. These individuals understand that while they may not control external events, they always control how they respond to them. By adopting this resilient mindset, they transform adversity into opportunity, growth, and strength. 4. The greedy. A greedy person is driven by an insatiable desire for more wealth, more power, more possessions, often at the expense of others and their own moral integrity. In Stoic philosophy, greed is seen as a vice that corrupts the soul, leading individuals away from the pursuit of virtue and towards a life dominated by external desires. Greed blinds a person to what truly matters in life, such as wisdom, relationships, and inner peace, as they become consumed by their endless appetite for material gain. Greed not only distorts priorities, but also fosters a sense of dissatisfaction and restlessness. No matter how much they acquire, the greedy individual is never content, always seeking more and often justifying unethical behavior to satisfy their desires. This mindset creates a life of perpetual striving without fulfillment, where true happiness remains elusive. From a Stoic perspective, greed is fundamentally at odds with the principles of moderation, contentment, and the understanding that true wealth comes from within. Stoicism teaches that the pursuit of virtue, rather than material gain, is the path to a fulfilling life. Respecting or trusting someone driven by greed is risky, as their actions are often motivated by self-interest rather than fairness or integrity. In Stoicism, respect is reserved for those who prioritize virtue over wealth, who seek to live in harmony with nature and reason, and who find contentment in what they have rather than constantly yearning for more. 5. The negative. Negativity can be a corrosive force in any relationship or environment. A negative person often focuses on problems rather than solutions, sees obstacles rather than opportunities, and spreads their pessimism to those around them. In Stoicism, maintaining a positive and resilient mindset is crucial for facing life's challenges with equanimity and strength. A negative person, however, undermines this Stoic ideal by constantly dwelling on what is wrong, rather than what can be improved or learned from a situation. This attitude not only affects their own well-being, but also drags down the spirits of those around them. Trusting or respecting someone who is persistently negative can lead to a toxic environment where progress and growth are stifled by a lack of hope and optimism. In the Stoic view, respect should be given to those who strive to maintain a balanced and constructive outlook on life, even in the face of adversity. 6. The manipulative. A manipulative person is a master of deception, often using charm, guilt, or fear to bend others to their will. They are skilled at reading people's weaknesses and exploiting them for personal gain. This behavior is antithetical to Stoic principles, which emphasize treating others with fairness, respect, and dignity. Manipulators see relationships as power dynamics where their ultimate goal is to control outcomes to their advantage, regardless of the impact on others. Such a person lacks the virtue of justice, which is central to Stoic ethics. Justice for the Stoic means giving each person their due and treating them with the respect that their humanity warrants. A manipulative individual, however, is concerned only with their desires, often leaving a trail of broken trust and damaged relationships in their wake. To respect or trust a manipulative person is to ignore the harm they cause and the ethical void at the heart of their actions. In the Stoic view, respect should be reserved for those who uplift others, not those who seek to control or diminish them. 7. The cowardly. Cowardice, in the Stoic sense, is not merely the absence of bravery, but the refusal to confront fear when duty calls. A coward often shirks responsibility, avoids difficult conversations, and fails to stand up for what is right when it truly matters. For the Stoic, courage is a cardinal virtue, essential for living a life of integrity and moral clarity. A coward, by contrast, may betray their friends, abandon their principles, or flee from challenges, leaving others to bear the consequences of their inaction. This lack of courage is seen as a fundamental weakness, not just in the face of danger, but in the broader context of life's moral challenges. A person who lacks the courage to face adversity or to defend what is just and true cannot be relied upon in times of need. Therefore, they do not deserve your trust or respect. In Stoicism, respect is earned by those who are willing to face the difficulties of life head-on with a clear mind and a resolute heart, regardless of the personal cost. 8. The dishonorable. Honor in the Stoic tradition is closely linked to one's sense of duty, integrity, and moral standing. A dishonorable person is someone who acts in ways that betray trust, violate ethical norms, or bring shame upon themselves and those associated with them. This might include acts of betrayal, corruption, or other behaviors that demonstrate a lack of moral backbone. Dishonorable actions reflect a fundamental disconnect between one's words and actions, leading to a life that is out of sync with the Stoic ideals of virtue and reason. For the Stoic, honor is not about societal recognition or status. It is about living in accordance with nature and reason, adhering to the principles of justice, courage, and wisdom. When a person acts dishonorably, they show that they cannot be trusted to do what is right, especially when it is difficult or when no one is watching. Trusting or respecting a dishonorable person is dangerous because it means aligning yourself with someone who does not hold the same ethical standards that are necessary for a just and good life. 9. The envious. Envy is one of the most destructive emotions, both for the individual who feels it and for those around them. An envious person is not just unhappy with their own circumstances, they are resentful of the success, happiness, or advantages of others. In Stoicism, envy is considered a vice that arises from a fundamental misunderstanding of what is truly valuable in life. Stoics believe that true contentment comes from within, from cultivating virtue and wisdom, rather than from external achievements or possessions. An envious person, however, is trapped in a cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction, often leading them to sabotage relationships or undermine others to elevate themselves. This behavior is the antithesis of the Stoic ideal of equanimity and self-contentment. Trusting or respecting someone who is envious is fraught with risk, as their underlying resentment can manifest in harmful ways, both subtle and overt. Respect, in the Stoic sense, should be directed toward those who find joy in the success of others, who focus on their own path without resentment or bitterness. 10. The incompetent. Incompetence, particularly when it stems from laziness or a lack of effort, is more than just a personal failing. It can have serious repercussions for others who rely on that person. Stoicism places a high value on personal excellence, mastery of one's craft, and the pursuit of knowledge. An incompetent person, especially one who does not strive to improve, demonstrates a disregard for these Stoic ideals. Their failure to meet basic standards of competence can lead to mistakes, delays, and failures that impact others, whether in a personal or professional context. Incompetence often reflects a deeper issue, a lack of discipline, a failure to take responsibility for one's own growth, and an absence of the Stoic virtue of wisdom, which involves knowing how to do things well. While Stoicism teaches compassion and understanding, it also emphasizes the importance of surrounding oneself with people who contribute positively to one's life and goals. Respecting or trusting an incompetent person, especially one who shows no desire to improve, can undermine your own efforts and lead to unnecessary difficulties. 11. The gossiper. A gossiper is someone who spreads rumors, half-truths, or outright lies about others, often to feel a sense of superiority or to create drama. In Stoicism, the practice of gossip is seen as a waste of time and energy, resources that could be better spent on self-improvement or the pursuit of wisdom. Gossipers violate the Stoic principle of speaking only what is necessary and beneficial, and they often do so at the expense of others' reputations and well-being. This behavior not only harms those who are the subjects of gossip, but also diminishes the character of the gossiper, who shows a lack of respect for others and for the truth. Trusting or respecting someone who engages in gossip is dangerous because it suggests that you condone their behavior, or worse, that you may become the subject of their rumors in the future. A Stoic would argue that true respect and trust are reserved for those who use their words wisely to build others up rather than to tear them down. 12. The ungrateful. Gratitude is a powerful Stoic practice that helps individuals focus on the positive aspects of their lives and fosters a sense of contentment. An ungrateful person, however, often takes the kindness, generosity, and efforts of others for granted, failing to acknowledge or appreciate them. This lack of gratitude is not just a minor character flaw. It reveals a deep-seated entitlement and a lack of awareness of how interconnected we all are. Stoicism teaches that we should be grateful for everything we receive, big or small, because nothing in life is owed to us. An ungrateful person misses this fundamental truth and often alienates those who have been generous or supportive. Trusting or respecting someone who is ungrateful can be emotionally draining, as they are unlikely to reciprocate your kindness or even acknowledge it. In the Stoic view, respect should be given to those who live with an awareness of their blessings and who express gratitude in their actions and words. 13. The irresponsible. Irresponsibility manifests in many ways, from failing to fulfill commitments to avoiding accountability for one's actions. In Stoic philosophy, responsibility is tied to the concept of living in accordance with nature and reason, where each person has a duty to fulfill their roles to the best of their ability. An irresponsible person shirks this duty, often leaving others to deal with the consequences of their neglect. This can cause significant harm, whether it's a missed deadline that derails a project or a broken promise that hurts a relationship. Irresponsibility is seen as a failure to live up to one's potential and to contribute meaningfully to the community. Trusting or respecting someone who is consistently irresponsible is risky because it means placing your faith in someone who does not take their obligations seriously. A Stoic would argue that respect is due to those who take ownership of their actions, who fulfill their duties with diligence, and who can be relied upon to do what is right. 14. The narcissist. Narcissists are individuals who have an excessive sense of self-importance and entitlement, often to the detriment of those around them. They tend to view themselves as superior to others and expect constant admiration and validation. In Stoicism, humility and self-awareness are valued as virtues, and narcissism is seen as a serious moral failing. A narcissist's inflated ego often blinds them to their own flaws and makes them incapable of genuine empathy or connection with others. This lack of empathy is particularly troubling in relationships, where mutual respect and understanding are essential. A narcissist is likely to exploit others for their own gain, seeing people as tools to be used rather than as equals to be respected. Trusting or respecting a narcissist is dangerous because it feeds their delusions of grandeur and can lead to manipulative or abusive behavior. Stoic philosophy teaches that respect should be earned through humility, self-awareness, and the ability to see and value the humanity in others, qualities that a narcissist fundamentally lacks. 15. The fearful. A person driven by fear often lets it control their actions and decisions, leading to a life of hesitation and missed opportunities. In Stoic philosophy, fear is a powerful emotion that can cloud judgment and hinder personal growth. The fearful individual tends to avoid challenges, retreating into a comfort zone that feels safe but stagnant. Fear, when unchecked, limits potential and spreads anxiety to those around them. Stoicism teaches that true strength comes from facing fears head-on, using reason and courage to overcome them. Respecting someone who is ruled by fear can be challenging, as their actions are often cautious and reactive. For the Stoic, respect is earned by those who act with courage despite their fears, using reason to guide their decisions. These individuals embody resilience and fortitude, making them truly worthy of admiration and trust. 16. The impulsive. Impulsiveness, particularly when it leads to rash decisions and hasty actions, can be a destructive force that undermines the Stoic values of reason, moderation, and deliberate thought. An impulsive person often acts on a whim, driven by fleeting emotions or desires, without fully considering the long-term consequences of their actions. This behavior not only puts them at risk, but can also negatively impact those around them, creating unnecessary conflict and turmoil. Stoicism teaches that true strength and wisdom come from thoughtful deliberation, where actions are guided by reason and virtue rather than by momentary urges. An impulsive individual, however, tends to bypass this reflective process, allowing emotions to steer their course. Trusting or respecting someone who is prone to impulsiveness can be perilous because their unpredictability and lack of foresight may lead to decisions that are neither rational nor just. From a Stoic perspective, respect is best reserved for those who exercise patience, consider the broader implications of their choices, and approach challenges with a steady, composed mindset. 17. The hypocrite. Hypocrisy is a deeply corrosive trait that undermines the fabric of any relationship. A hypocrite is someone who espouses certain values or beliefs publicly but acts in direct contradiction to them when it serves their purposes. This duality is especially troubling in Stoicism, where living in accordance with one's principles is a fundamental tenet. The hypocrite wears a mask of virtue, but their actions reveal a lack of true moral character. They may preach honesty, yet lie when it benefits them. They may advocate for justice, yet turn a blind eye when it is convenient. This discrepancy between words and deeds reveals a person who cannot be trusted, as they are willing to abandon their professed values when the situation suits them. In Stoic philosophy, integrity is paramount, and those who lack it are seen as morally bankrupt. Trusting or respecting a hypocrite is not only unwise, but also a betrayal of one's own principles, as it endorses the very duplicity that Stoicism stands against.